We're all loaded in now, so hey everyone. Oh no. Oh, no, you gotta turn the label around so we can get those sponsorships.
Yeah,
Yeah.
gotta just
And now
just
you have
like
to have
that.
an orgasm.
Ugh.
There we go. Call us, monster. We'll drink your shit on air.
Yeah, and
But
call me ladies because that's the face that I make.
nice. But anyway, hey everybody. Welcome to the 700th episode of OK Podcast with Bad People.
Yeah,
I'm CJ, and this is my lovely co-host, Robert.
indeed, it's
Really,
me.
really, I'm more the co-host. This is really your thing.
I mean, nah, I think we're both co-hosty. This is
So
like a
no
joint
one is in
venture.
charge. We're both just dumb side idiots. But yeah, we're
We are
gonna
both the Luigi.
yes. But he's the best one.
Yeah, and we're both the best. So
Nice. This is gonna be a pretty controversial episode. I think our most controversial one we've ever done. I can't wait for that one
yeah,
guy to
probably
watch it.
so. And we had an episode where one of the topics was controversial opinions.
Oh,
So
that's true. We did. But yeah, we're going to talk about the movie Joker. We both went and saw it at some point this last week, and then we're going to talk about what's happening with Blizzard and this whole Hong Kong debacle. But
indeed.
but first, Robert has his starting bit, so take it away.
Yeah, so I found a little news item about a pretty cool new feature that Steam is working on, which is called Remote Play Together. The idea of the feature is that if you have games that only have local co-op, you can still play them online co-op through Steam.
Oh,
Yeah.
that could change some things.
Yeah, I was thinking like there are some game like I thought it would be super fun to play Enter the Gungeon on stream.
I would definitely be up for playing Enter the Gungeon with you for some streams. That would be awesome.
Indeed.
We could do a hat in time.
Yeah.
But awesome. Tell us more. Tell us more.
I mean that's most of
Oh,
what there is. I think they're taking the feature into beta on the 22nd of this month.
okay.
So and then hopefully it'll go well and then get released to everyone.
Nice.
Yeah, I know it's not as big and juicy a news story as I normally try for, but it
Oh,
was
is that the end of it?
I mean that's about all there is that that's a thing that they're working on.
Nice. So no quiz.
No, not this week, I'm afraid. I'll try and do better next week.
We just lost all of our viewers.
I know.
All right. Well, I guess we're just gonna get right into it then with Joker.
Yeah.
So nice. What? Why does it say first? That's new.
What? Oh, thank you, Will. What does it say
Is it
first?
because he's the first one to comment on the stream?
Maybe.
That's cool. And also, I'm glad you're here, Will. I was worried you wouldn't be able to make it. Wait, you're also first.
Mine says first. I don't see a first next to my name.
It's because you're a founder? Yeah. It says
Hmm.
first. It says first, and then if I highlight, it says 4 month subscriber. 1 month
Interesting.
longer than Will has subscribed.
Suck it, Will.
So I guess it's like you're some of the first people to ever subscribe to the channel.
Makes sense.
Must be some of the new stuff they've added with Twitch. That's pretty neato bandito.
Indeed.
Oh, it's a lot of chandeliers and then blonde girls.
Indeed.
What is the blonde girl?
It's one of the temporary emotes that I got. I think it's like a
RPG.
Halloween take on the Ayaya.
What is Ayaya?
It's like a Twitch meme. Have you never seen that?
Never seen what?
The like Ayaya video.
I have
It's
not.
like one of the most anime things that has ever happened to me.
Dude, you sound like
I
you're
feel
super
like if you
lost.
saw the video, you'd be like, "Oh yeah, I know what this is." It's like I don't know what show it's from, but they like took these lines out of the show where I guess one of the characters says like "ayaya" and then like YouTubed a song out of it. Um, and yeah, so that's like it became kind of a thing. And I think some like it became a big enough meme that like some channels would do it IAA stuff, and then they just made an IAA emote.
That was a weird little video.
Yeah.
Wait, you heard what? You heard what? Oh
Oh,
no,
I'm only a week ahead of Will.
was it playing when I looked it up? Oh no.
It didn't play on this. Oh, maybe it. Well, I don't know. I guess I don't have stream volume on,
I
so I wouldn't have heard if it played on the stream.
shit. I forgot it did that. I was just like, what is this? Well, cool. We're gonna get copyright claimed on this video. For a little bit, there's gonna be like a 30-second dead period.
Yeah, that's all right.
Now everyone knows that
Now they know.
But anyway, so we saw Joker, and I'll ask Rob, take it away. What are your thoughts, feelings, and emotions on the subject?
So I would say like this may be the most conflicted I've felt about one of the movies that we watched.
Ooh.
Um, like I think when we talked earlier, I said that I'd give it a 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
And like maybe you can change my mind on that, but I think that's still where I'm at.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there's a lot of solid pieces to this movie, but there's also um there are some things about the way that it like works as a whole that I felt like weren't very great. The whole like shoehorning in of the Waynes was kind of irritating to me, and I feel like hurts it. And I like I'm not someone who would normally be making arguments about like a socially irresponsible movie, but I do feel like some of the messaging in this movie like is like I don't think it's intentionally trying to be bad, but I do think that like there is a way that it sort of like glorifies violence in the end that seems kind of questionable to me, but
Okay. Well, I want to talk about that more. I'd like to
yeah.
hear more of what you mean by that.
Yeah, for sure.
I would probably give it not quite an 8 for what it is, but definitely in the 7s for sure. I liked it.
Yeah.
For me, my biggest issue with the movie is like I was disappointed at what wasn't in the movie on two occasions. One is my own fault for getting overexcited for a movie about Joker. And then the other thing was something I think the movie missed out on, which I think could have made for a cool scene. The first thing being, I had to keep reminding myself this is supposed to be a realistic take on the Joker, and it's his origins. It's not like he's been Joker for 5 years, so he's amassed like money and backup. I was hoping for some reason that he would do this elaborate like plan scheme thing, like how in Dark Knight he's like, I have 2 ships with bombs on them.
Yeah.
And like nothing like that happens.
It's a much more grounded story than that, yeah.
Exactly. So that was my own fault for being like, oh, that wasn't in there. The one thing I was very much hoping for that wasn't in the movie, but then I'll explain later why that isn't really a problem when you think about the characters. What I was really hoping for, especially since they make such a big deal about Arthur, the Joker's name in this movie. Oh, I just remembered a third thing that disappointed me, but we'll come back to that one. Is being a stand-up comedian is what I was really hoping for at some point, probably near the end, especially when he goes on to what was the name of the show he goes on with Robert De Niro?
It's Murray.
Murray.
Murray. Murray.
It's Murray, but is it Murray Live or whatever, or the Murray Show?
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember the exact name of the show, but
Is I really wanted him to deliver like a solid stand-up set
hmm.
that was funny, and it would like start normal, but then as he told more jokes it would slowly become more twisted and deranged, and everyone in the studio would stop laughing at it because he realized he's not joking about stuff, he's talking about killing people or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Instead they just kind of, he goes on the Murray Show and was like, bah! Off, like shitty joke, and then just starts talking about killing people.
Hmm.
But then I realized the Joker in none of his things, except for arguably the final parts of the Killing Joke, the Joker is not funny. He is someone who thinks he's funny and tells jokes, but they're never like a funny joke that you're like, haha, I get it. He's just like, knock knock, who's there? Shot you in the face.
Yeah.
And then even the Killing Joke, I think that's not even a joke that he comes up with. I think it's an actual old joke that he tells Batman. So then I was like, I guess it makes sense because he's too insane. Hey, you were right about what? We do have a mouse. Awesome. That's not what I want to hear. Is it still alive? But so yeah, I was a little bummed. That's something I would have liked to see because I love stand-up comedy, and I would just love to see like a twisted thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't I feel like I kind of agree with you because I feel like the things that make this movie weak in terms of what it's trying to do often have to do with the fact that it is a movie about the Joker.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the story of this movie might have been stronger if it was just a movie about a crazy person.
Mm-hmm.
And like at the same time, I also would have liked to have gotten a like really elaborate but more comic booky movie about the origins of the Joker. That could have been a lot of fun. Um, and I feel like instead the movie's sort of like a hybrid of those two things.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they like always sit well together for me.
It's definitely a movie that as I was watching, I could feel why like a lot of people didn't like it. I completely disagree with all of the reviews that came out that gave it like twos. Is like when this movie like was first shown at whatever film festivals, it wasn't Sundance, I can't remember what it was, and it wasn't Cannes, I don't think. The reviews that,
I should know because one of my big reviewers, my Adam from Your Movie Sucks, watched it there. Oh, it was TIFF,
TIFF.
the International Film Festival.
Oh,
TIFF.
okay. I guess I've never heard it called that. Wait, why would it be called TIFF?
Because it's the International
my brain
Film
went like you
Festival.
never use the in acronyms. My brain went, would it be if? But it had like a 70 something on Metacritic. And I'm like, that's
Yeah.
pretty good. But then after it was released to the public, like 5 or 6 reviews came out from different people who were giving it like twos, and that brought it down into the 50s.
Yeah.
And I read some of them, and I don't agree with what they're saying. I think it's people just being mad at the sake of being mad.
What kinds of things were they saying?
Like Joaquin Phoenix did a terrible job acting.
He was great.
Yeah,
What are they
there's
on
a
about?
bunch of them had just Joaquin like he's trying so hard that it's gross to watch.
He was like the best part of this movie. He's
Yeah.
fucking fantastic.
Stuff like that. Some like they're like this movie's garbage, and I'm just like, oh. I could completely understand someone being disappointed watching this movie.
Yeah.
I don't think it's garbage by any stretch.
Yeah, for sure.
I really liked how it ended. I thought that was good. I really like the ending, but I want to talk about that later.
Okay.
Trying to think of some stuff. Was there anything you wanted to talk about before the ending? Like anything big in your mind?
I mean, I have like plenty of things written down here, but I don't know if you have like a kind of outline of things you want to talk about.
No, much like the Joker, I'm not someone who makes plans.
Okay, man. Yeah, my notes were like a kind of a weird thing with this movie, just because like, normally I have my computer, but
Hmm.
since we watched it on a movie theater, I had to just like take notes in the dark on my notebook,
I
and
was
they're all
wondering,
like a
like, oh
sprawled
man, I would
jumble.
have loved to have seen like like because everyone was talking about how the movie was going to be like, oh, it's going to reap incel violence. Is like some security guard just seeing you like hurriedly jotting down notes as you're watching this movie.
Yeah, I was like kind of worried about like what if other people in the theater are like, what is that guy doing? But none of the other three people in the theater said anything to me, so
We had a few more than 3 people when we went and saw it.
yeah. I mean, you guys went on a weekend though, so
Oh yeah, we did. I was thinking we went Friday, but we didn't. We went Saturday. But I guess the one major thing I'd want to talk about is I think this movie does a good job for the most part juxtaposing moments of humor in very like dark situations.
hmm.
Like one thing that the ending does. We'll talk about that later. But the scene me and Will talked about a few times that we really liked was near the end. It's the point where Arthur has basically committed to becoming the Joker, and it's when his former coworker visits him, the one who gave him the gun, and is basically trying
Yeah.
to set up with the police, and then Arthur ends up stabbing him to death.
Mm-hmm.
Is when he's stabbing him to death in front of the dwarf who's there, and then the dwarf is like, "Oh God, I don't want to die," and he's like, "Oh, don't worry, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to let you go." And then he has to go to open the door, but the door's still locked, and
Yeah.
he's too short to open it. And then he has to be like, "Arthur, can you open the door?" And
Yeah.
it's not like high end like thought provoking comedy. It's just the simple comedy of look at this tiny man who's too short to open the door. And
Yeah,
then
it is like maybe some of the darkest humor that I've ever seen work.
he lets him out and he's like, "Bye." And he gives him a little kiss on the head. And I was like, "Oh." Or even before that, when he's like, "You can go. I'm not going to kill you." And I forget what the dwarf's name is, but he's like, "Don't worry. I'm not going to kill you. You can go." And as he walks by, he goes, "Ah!" And like spooks
Yeah.
him. And I'm like, that's so lowbrow shit. That's just like you're spooking your baby or something. Well, not to say dwarfs are babies, but just saying like it's really easy to jump scare someone for comedy. Also, just want to note your screen keeps like cutting out. Like it looks like it keeps
Yeah, I'm seeing
refreshing.
that, but I don't really know what to do about it.
Okay, but it's literally I am the only one watching this. We only have one viewer, so it's gonna be me and then that
I mean,
one.
I've got it open, so we should have more than one.
I don't know.
I think it's just Twitch doing that thing again where it's not showing you the real numbers.
As long as it knows the real numbers, and then that one guy watches it on YouTube.
Indeed. Our hero.
But that I'm trying to think of some other examples where there was something kind of funny while something really dark was happening.
Maybe like the bus scene had some moments like where he's like making faces at the kid and then his mom's like, "Seriously, dude?"
Mm-hmm.
Um just
Oh,
like the expression on her face of like, "I'm not having this shit."
I, I liked that they kind of gave his laugh thing like a medical condition.
Yeah.
I was a little confused, like why he's laughing all the time, and then it's like he has a condition, which is a real thing. I forget what it's
Yeah.
called. I remember I did. I meant to look it up, and then I forgot. But I had seen other TV shows where characters have had that, so I'm assuming it's real. And I just thought that was really good, where it's
Pseudo Bulbler effect
hmm,
or PBA.
he is someone who's trapped by laughter, and
Hmm.
I've never seen a version of the Joker like that who has that, where it's like he has to laugh even if he doesn't want to. And I thought that was
Yeah.
really interesting because then it had some interesting parts where like, where he'll laugh like that and then he'll dead stop. And I
Yeah.
thought those moments were really effective, like when he's walking out of like work for that first time, and he's like, "Ah!" And then just dead stops.
Well, there are some like really interesting moments with it too, where like one that I was thinking about is when he's in the comedy club and like taking notes, but he's laughing at all the wrong times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like he's kind of at that point confusing his own medical condition with actually laughing.
Mm.
Uh,
But that was good.
yeah.
I do one thing I was also like minorly disappointed by is one thing I really tried to spot while watching it was like homages to other like jokery things through history, and I'm sure I've missed some because this movie is more grounded than anything else, but there wasn't anything that was like that's a reference to whatever. And I know a decent amount of Joker stuff because Batman's really the only comic book character I pay attention to.
Yeah.
But then in that mindset while I was looking for stuff, the movie as a whole sort of stood out to me as sort of a reference to The Killing Joke, which have you read or seen that movie?
I read the book, but it's been a while, like, or the like graphic novel, but it's been quite a while since I actually read it, so I don't really remember much about it.
Well, the really I've been screaming about something is it's near the end, and it's the idea of one bad day,
Yeah.
where that's like what he's trying to do to Gordon in that, where he's trying to give him one bad day to make him go nuts, and then Joker says all it took for me was one bad day. And for me, this whole movie is a sequence of bad days
Yeah.
for Arthur, which using the Killing Joke as the thing where it's like it only takes one bad day to turn you into the Joker. So what we know is the Joker. So imagine having 7 bad days in a row.
Yeah. Although, like, I don't know if that's necessary. I mean, that could definitely be a reference to that, but it could also, like, definitely. This movie, like, absolutely does take inspiration from Taxi Driver too,
Mm-hmm.
which is like a guy having a series of, like, not just bad days, but he's also clearly mentally ill the whole time.
Mm-hmm. But he's having there's so much of the movie, which is kind of a bummer because it's almost like the universe acting on someone rather than he's not having bad days because of stuff he's doing. He's having bad days because of stuff that is beyond his control, which I think fits into the larger message of the movie is that it's the people who don't have control who are abused the most that end up causing the most problems because we're not helping them. It's kind of a quick over thing. Is like from the trailers they show all the trailers show the part where it's Robert De Niro showing a clip of Arthur doing his stand-up and then he mocks him for it.
Yeah.
Is the movie makes it sound like he's mocking him for being a bad comedian, but then you see the clip that they play for him and most of it is him getting mocked for his disease. It's because he can't stop laughing. And it's
I mean, I feel like Murray doesn't get that it's a disease.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
They're just like,
is he thinks he's just laughing really hard but at his own shit, but he's not. It's because so it's a series of unfortunate events between both of them, is that Murray didn't do his research on Arthur before making fun of him.
Yeah.
And Arthur has this disease. So in that one, it's Murray is in the wrong, as he is making fun of someone who is effectively like mentally ill or mentally retarded.
Yeah.
And that's not Arthur's fault. But did you, at any point in the movie, like, did you like stop feeling bad for Arthur?
I would say, like, I stopped feeling bad for him once he, like, really beat Joker. I guess, like, I don't, like, when he has, like, stopped going to therapy and taking his medication, it almost seems like he becomes more actualized in a way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's clearly still horrifically mentally ill, but like he isn't suffering from it anymore. Um, and I guess like I mean, on kind of a larger level, I can like sympathize with the fact that he's like not really in control of who he has become or like any of that. And I feel bad for the character of Arthur, but like as the Joker, I don't really feel bad for him, I guess. If that makes sense.
I can see where you're getting at, I think. But
Yeah. I'm having a hard time explaining exactly what I mean. But like I don't know, there's like a point in the movie where he stops being a person, or he stops like reading as a person who's suffering from mental illness and becomes something else. And so like I would say especially when he's on Murray's show and um he just seems so like confident and in control of himself. And even though I can recognize like the reality of the situation isn't that, um, like it just is harder to sympathize with him in that moment, I guess.
all right.
I mean, it's a thing where like if this was an event that if I was like if I was in the jury that was trying him, the way that I would vote is like this guy's mentally ill, he needs help.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like because he doesn't feel bad anymore and he doesn't feel bad for the people that he's hurting anymore. Like the kind of sympathy that evokes from me is different, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think it does.
Yeah.
For me, I think the movie did a pretty good job that by the end I was like locked in, where I never really stopped feeling bad for him, and even because the people he's hurting, even at the end, which directly, I guess, at the end when he finally turns to Joker, would be the dude he stabs, Murray, and then at the end of the movie implied the receptionist, but not receptionist, the therapist person,
Yeah.
is it. The last one is probably where it possibly loses me, but at that point he's Joker, like what we know as Joker. But the previous two are people who have hurt him and are still trying to manipulate him in some way,
Yeah.
or are act like Murray's cases. He just keeps making fun of him over
Yeah.
and over again, and is kind of a dick.
Yeah.
So
He is. Um,
is in movie land, I did not feel bad for him getting shot in the face. If it was a real person, like if I was in the audience and saw Conan O'Brien get shot in the face, I'd be like, oh no.
yeah.
But I could understand to some extent why Joker, like Arthur, shot him and why he
Hmm.
stabbed the other guy. Like it still was wrong, but like I don't know, part of me was whatever. There's definitely a lot of this movie because I do suffer from mental issues of my own, and I've definitely like the part in the movie where he's practicing going on a Murray show and he's doing the whole knock knock and then he's the punchline is him shooting himself in the head is I've thought of that many times. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
if I'm going to kill myself, I do want to do it in like a spectacular way that people won't forget for a while, and doing it as a punchline to a joke is a hell of a way to do it. Don't
Yeah.
kill yourself, anyone who's watching this. But I feel like this movie is almost for a specific sort of person to get all the way into it. And I think I'm on like the edge of being that person. So, I don't know. As I was watching it, I was like, this feels like a movie that was made for me, sort of. There's really nothing in the movie I disagree with, which I'm sure is something that people would be like, no, there's a lot to disagree with, but I don't know, especially now. I think the biggest, not in the movie political statement, but that was like a direct to like real life right now, is the whole disparity between rich and poor.
Yeah.
And that is such a big thing right now, especially like the news story that's going on right now is with the current tax laws, billionaires this year will pay less, like percentage wise, than we will.
Yeah.
And that's fucking bananas.
Yeah, it is. I mean, like, I agree with you on that. I don't know that I felt like this movie was a good exploration of that theme, though.
Oh, I don't
Um,
think it was. I think it's a very the city of Gotham has that problem, and that's how the city of Gotham tries to fix it.
yeah,
Because in fiction, of places that aren't like the nether realm of the fiery abyss, Gotham is probably the worst place to live ever.
yeah,
So
it's pretty bad.
to me, it was, here's this very serious real life problem happening in the shittiest place that it can.
Yeah,
And this is the result. The city implodes on itself for a while. I do think having that message of kill the rich being the thing for a while was an interesting way to kill the Waynes.
see, that was for me was a thing that I didn't really like about this movie. Though, like, I guess, like, to start with, I had a hard time understanding why, after that subway killing, people immediately assumed that he had killed them just because they were rich. Um, but also, like, I don't know, I when that scene started,
Which scene?
I
Sorry,
was
the subway or the killing of the
the
Waynes?
the subway killing
Okay.
scene. Like, I was thinking about this thing that happened in real life,
Mm-hmm.
um, where this was like, I think back in the 70s or 80s, so around the same time in New York,
Mm-hmm.
where like things were really bad on the subway and some guy defended himself. And I don't remember if he like killed or just severely hurt his attacker on the subway, but it was like a pretty big court case. And people in New York City were really unhappy about it because they were like, yeah, dude, it's fucking shitty down on the subways. Why are you going after this guy who defended himself from some assholes on the subway instead of going after the assholes on the subway?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I had kind of hoped that, like, the movie was kind of alluding to that in some ways or would like play with some of those themes, but instead it like brought in those themes of the rich versus the poor, which I felt like were kind of there in order to help put the Waynes into the movie. But I didn't, like I've said before, I felt like this would have been a stronger movie without the Waynes presence in it at all.
I honestly don't think the Waynes' presence takes away from the movie at all. I think the Waynes, in my opinion, were a positive addition to the movie. They're not. Oh, sorry. What were you gonna say?
So I have kind of a like way that you could rewrite the script,
Okay.
um, which I honestly kind of wonder if this wasn't originally the way that it might have been meant to be, and then like some producers said, well, we need to fit the Waynes in here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but like one thing that I felt like could have made this movie stronger is if instead of um, Arthur's mom thinking that Thomas Wayne was his father, if she thought that Murray was his father. Um, like, I guess part of my problem is that the way that Thomas Wayne is written in this is completely unlike how he's written anywhere else in Batman lore.
Well, that's the thing I want to talk about that because that's not true anymore.
Okay,
Yeah, that's a big
well,
thing I was just about to start talking about.
okay. But so I guess the other thing that I was thinking about is like I feel like the emotional impact of Murray. Well, like it makes more sense for his mom to be like watching Murray every day
Mm-hmm.
if it was Murray who she thought she was who she delusionally thought she was having an affair with. It would make um Arthur's feelings of being tied to Murray stronger also, and it would like deepen the gut punch of getting made fun of by Murray if he thought Murray was his father and if Murray had rejected him.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I agree with that. I think I agree with it with the stipulation if it was what we talked about earlier, not a movie about the Joker, but a movie about a crazy person.
yeah.
Because I think that would be really good because that hurts on multiple levels.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll keep going. Sorry.
So I guess like my other thing, and I guess you're saying like that is not like my vision of the traditional canonical Wayne is maybe something that has been changed in recent years apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess also like I feel like part of the ethos of Batman in the past has been that like his parents died because Gotham was just such a crime-ridden shithole to start with
Mm-hmm.
that like even really good people can just get killed for being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And like to change that so now it's like kind of specifically tied to something that the Joker was doing. I don't know, like it just doesn't feel the same to me. But
Uh, I don't know. I really liked the way they. I don't know if I really like. I liked it how they handled it. Is that definitely, especially since the Court of Owls storyline, the pretty picture of the Waynes has become more and more tarnished because you
hmm.
learn that they're not all that good people. They're actually very deeply involved in crime. Because
Well, even his well, so like all of his like his ancestors in the past, or specifically Thomas and Martha,
up until Thomas and Martha,
up until then.
like sorry, them included, like they
Okay.
are involved in doing stuff. Is that they're part of like the people who like run the city and they've done bad things because that's one of the things Batman has come to terms with. He's like that comes from head to face is I'm avenging my parents because in my brain they were killed for no reason, but then there's been ones where it's like they were killed because of things they did, like it was like an assassination rather than just a random street thug, stuff like that.
Hmm.
Is I kind of liked that Thomas was not completely, but sort of a dick.
Yeah.
He was not likable in this movie.
Yeah. I agree. Like, especially just because, like, he has to know that Arthur is there because he's been raised by someone who's mentally ill, but he's completely unsympathetic to that.
Mm-hmm. And then at the end, he's getting killed because he once again went down fucking crime alley during this horrible shit, and then he gets killed because someone's like, "You're the rich, we're gonna kill you," rather
Yeah.
than I'm going to rob you and then shoot you. Which to me always just felt like weird random violence, which never really had impact to me. It was just like, well, that really sucks. They were really unlucky. This was like, oh, this was a targeted murder now, which has to me a lot more feeling behind it.
Hmm.
But multiple times they bring up the fact that Thomas Wayne is the only man who can save the city. So
Yeah.
his death is sort of a way of saying, well, now there's no one to save the city because in very much actuality, like the Waynes are the backbone of Gotham. They could spend their money because they always say Batman's biggest thing is if he stopped being Batman and donated all of his money to just helping Gotham would be a better place. And for the longest time, the Wayne's whole thing is like, yeah, they are donating money and helping, and that's really great. But then it's become more complicated in recent years. It's like they could be donating even more money if they weren't using it to do crime shit. So
Hmm.
to me, it felt like like the thing was Thomas Wayne has the potential to save Gotham, and if he wasn't busy being so rich, he could have helped Gotham more. He could have he could have helped Arthur and prevented this whole thing from happening if he was more sympathetic, because he is in the position to do so, even though it's not like, if we're just looking at society, it is not his personal obligation to help Arthur at all. He can just be like, no. But if he had chosen to be the hero in that moment, been like, look, I feel bad for you, I can help you because I have more money than you'll ever be able to imagine in your life. And if he would have just reached out and helped him in those moments, so much of the movie wouldn't happen. But because he chose to reject him and then threaten him at the end, he gets killed. He gets buried under this tidal wave of angry, angry people that which he fans in the media when he's interviewed. He called them clowns, and then he tells them, I'm doing this for their own good. So he kind of gets crushed in a way by his own actions, because he thinks, from how I kind of interpret, he thinks he's better than everyone else.
Okay, you've turned me around a little bit on that.
But I think I feel like they very much, the core tenets of like talking about real world shit in this movie were the abandonment of the mentally handicapped, or like the just people who need help mentally, like we just put them in a corner and try to forget about them the most we can. I feel really dumb. I forgot my second one, because my third one was the disparity of rich and poor. I think the second one was like the weird glorifications of violence as a problem-solving implementation. And if they were going to have that message of rich versus poor, they needed to have the Waynes in it, because they are the symbol of wealth in Gotham. In every storyline where it's like, we need more money, it's like, the Waynes could have helped us if they weren't married. Or like, if Thomas Wayne was still alive, there would be more money everywhere. So I thought that was interesting. I also what did you think before the twist reveal when Arthur just gets the girl?
Okay, so that was something that had actually been spoiled for me before. So like, I was actually going to ask you, like I was able to watch it with an eye for like the clues, and I was like, I can see a lot of clues here, but I was curious whether that was something that you figured out before it happened or not.
I can't concretely say I figured it out, but like, because they did the very movie thing of him having that snap, I feel confident, and then he marches in and kisses her, and I'm like, I've seen that in so many movies. That could be a thing. And then when you see them together in so many places, I was like, this feels really forced and weird. And then in the back of my head, my brain was like, maybe he's just imagining it, I guess, because he's crazy. But that was never like, he has to be making this up. I never felt that concretely. So then at the end, when he goes to her apartment and then she goes, you're Arthur, right? I went, oh, he was just imagining it.
Yeah.
So, because I know we've talked before about like how sometimes relationships in movies, when they happen, they feel really shitty. And I thought that one, if that would have been canonically the thing where he kisses her one time and then they're together as a couple, I'd be like, that felt really forced and stupid. But then the movie was like, gotcha. And I liked that. I know there were things, but I'm just trying to think of specific things that I didn't like, where I was like, ugh, that felt weird.
So I'll give you one where there was like a thing that I liked and a thing that I didn't like, and they're kind of related.
Okay.
Which is some of the visual metaphors that the movie uses for his state of mind and his mood. One that I really liked was that like really long stairway that he like walks up a couple times in the movie.
Yep.
Where like in the earlier scenes, it's always like really dark and drab, and you can see what an effort it is to go up it. But then like towards the end of the movie, when he's like become full Joker, it's just like fully brightly lit, and he's like yeah.
I did really like that one.
Yeah, I thought that was a great visual metaphor. But the one that like annoyed me was the way that he's always like dancing in the movie.
Yes, the dancing was weird, but it's not completely out of place for old Joker. Old Joker, like from the old comics, was also dancing like Batman would point out. It's like, why are you dancing? It's like, just because it's what you do. But yeah, I definitely thought some of his dancing things would go on too long.
Yeah.
So yeah, I completely agree with his his dancing would go too long. Todd should have been like, all right, cut. But he just let Joaquin be Joaquin. With his
Indeed.
weird, thin spider body. He looked really gross. But, like, in a good way.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he did a really great job of, like, making everything about that character feel kind of, like, off-putting.
But, I guess this getting into the thing now that the big thing that also really disappointed me, which was something a lot of people were guessing would happen in the movie, was once they announced that Bruce Wayne would be in the movie as a child, is that this guy Arthur would not be the Joker who we know as the Joker. That he would just be like this madman that shows up and then eventually fades away, but be the one who inspires the Joker to become the Joker.
Yeah, they did a plot like that in Gotham, didn't they?
No. Sort
No?
of. Because in that one, like, the Joker is there. Like, the actual Joker is the Joker.
Well, I thought in Gotham there was, like, I don't know, it's been a while since I watched Gotham. I thought there was a scene, a like, plot line where there were these kind of, like, crazy people, and one of them had, like, red hair and then did some things, and then it was implied that a different guy, like, watched his crime, and that guy was inspired to become the Joker or something. But
Maybe that happens because Jerome is the Joker through Gotham. Like, he is the one who will grow up to be Joker. Like, but he turns into the Joker as, like, a 17-year-old in that show. But maybe it's because I think that does actually happen where Jerome sees him because, well, no, I think we're mixing things up because the episode Jerome is introduced in is the one where, like, his mom gets murdered and then you learn he's the murderer. And then he gets arrested. Maybe he sees it, like, on a TV or something when he's in juvenile hall or something. I don't remember.
I don't either.
Gotham had a lot of ups and downs in terms of content. But yeah, I was waiting for, like, the final scene of this movie to, like, show this kid in, like, a shit heap apartment whose parents are, like, beating the shit out of each other in the background, just be watching the TV and then, like, a big smile come over their face or something. And then you're like, that kid's gonna be the Joker. But, because now, like, in that universe, when Batman becomes Batman, Joker is gonna be, like, 72.
Just gonna be, like, got that old man walker going on.
Frame that shoots out laughing gas. But I guess since we're here, I'll talk about it. I did like the ending. Is my favorite thing in movies is a really strong end line. And I think this movie had a good one for Joaquin, where he's laughing and then she's like, what are you laughing at? He's like, I just thought of a joke. And then as he's kind of laughing, it shows all of the horrible shit that's happening because of his actions. And then she's like, well, what's the joke? And he says, you wouldn't get it.
Yeah.
And to me, that had, like, a threefold meaning. But before I get to that, like, it also showed his transformation as, like, from being a comedian to being a murderer. Is that normally a comedian will try to tell a joke when they can. And Arthur seemed like someone who would try to explain a joke to someone the best he could, but would probably fuck it up. But his thing just going, I'm not going to bother explaining it to you because you won't understand, is... One is to, like, her, like, in his own head, he's like, I probably can't explain this joke in a way she could understand, so the literal meaning. The secondary meaning of him just being so insane that he doesn't even understand his own insanity, so maybe he doesn't even get it. And then finally, the meta meaning of sort of Todd Phillips poking at people who might be like, this movie's just derivative garbage. It's like, no, you didn't get the movie. You're stupid. But then so that's the last bit of dialogue in the movie, and I thought that was really good. And then the thing after that felt the most like comic book Joker. Is he has somehow gotten out of his handcuffs and is walking away, and then his footprints are really bloody.
Yeah.
And then the final shot, which I think then once again reinforces the message of the movie, like the motif of the movie of having comedy with really dark moments, is where he's walking to the end of the like the T-shaped hallway, looks, sees someone coming, and then runs one direction. They chase him, and then he comes running back the other way. Like, he's somehow like, woo! It felt like
He's like Benny Hilling around.
Yeah, which is such like a weird old like visual gag. But he has just very probably murdered someone.
Yeah.
So, and he's running around in a mental institution. And then it just does like the end in the old Warner Brothers Looney Tune font. And I chuckled. There was a few times in that movie I laughed, and no one else in the theater laughed. That I like the one line that I laughed at because of the delivery and sort of the dark nature of the one where like, "Hey Arthur, what are you doing?" He's just like, "My mom just died. I'm celebrating." That's such a ridiculous thing to say, but he delivers it with such sincerity, like he's not even looking at them when he says it, that I went, "Ha!" And then I just immediately look around and no one's laughing, and I'm like, "Oh no, they think I'm a murderer." But to be honest, I don't feel like it's a movie I feel the need to watch again.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like I might watch it again at some point. But I'm not like dying to go and watch it again immediately.
I'm curious if it's going to be integrated into the DCU.
I kind of hope not. Like,
I don't think it would fit, yeah.
Yeah.
Though it would be really weird and interesting if this would have to be multiple movies away. And since you've already told me like Birds of Prey is a setup for like 2 movies away, maybe they could think this far ahead. Where they could technically have both him and Jared Leto Jokers in the same universe. Where like Batman has to deal with Jared Leto's Joker and he's like, "I have to go see the Joker." And they're like, "We don't know where whatever Joker is." And we're like, "Not that one." And then he goes and sees Arthur Fleck in Arkham as an old man who's still completely insane. Because in the current Batman, right now there are 3 Jokers. And it turns out there's always been 3 Jokers. That's the twist. Batman learns that there has always been 3 Jokers when he earns the power of the god at the end of like the last event. Because he's like, "Tell me Joker's real name." And then he gets hit with the knowledge of it. And then when he loses that power, when everyone loses their god powers, he's like, "There's 3 of them." So if they wanted to go with the comic book adaptation thing, they could have multiple Jokers and still have Arthur in the DCU.
Yeah.
But he would be too old to do like any like action or anything. He would have to be like the wheelchair guy who's scheming or something.
I don't know. I just had the funny idea that they could do the like companion piece to Batman Beyond where it's Joker Beyond. And it's like Jared Leto Joker and then like old man Arthur Fleck Joker giving him advice.
Yeah, I was also thinking, to me it wasn't a funny thing, but yeah, like a part where he breaks Arthur out of Arkham and he talks, and then you just see the juxtaposition of Jared Leto's weird, over-the-top, like creepy cackling Joker who's like kind of into it too much versus like Arthur's reserved, intense, boiling madness Joker. That could honestly be, because they're both good actors, and actually a very interesting scene if it was done right, and I wouldn't be opposed to seeing it.
Yeah?
I don't really care for Jared Leto's Joker as it is right now, and apparently he didn't really like the Joker movie for some reason. I didn't read all of the interview, but
well, because they forgot to put the damaged tattoo on his head.
That was probably the biggest thing. Yeah, I don't really care for his design, but if they ever brought him back, which they probably won't, uh, he could just canonically have gotten rid of his tattoos and just changed a little bit. And I think he could. I would be willing to give Jared Leto a second chance at Joker, to be completely honest. I want to see his Joker have to deal with a Batman, and not be like a weird tertiary character in a Suicide Squad movie. But I don't know. They're making the dude who played Edward from Twilight be Batman, so I don't know who his villains are going to be. I don't even know how good of a Batman that guy's going to be.
I don't know. I feel like he could be an interesting Batman, maybe.
He could. I've
willing
heard
to give him a shot.
his last few movies where he's playing serious roles have been good.
Yeah.
And I didn't think Heath Ledger was going to be a good Joker. But then it turned out I'm a big dumb idiot.
He was the second best Joker.
Is your favorite Nicholson?
Mark Hamill.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, yes. Mark Hamill doesn't count. He goes beyond everything. I meant like, cause on screen, cause
Yeah, of the like live action movie Jokers, Heath Ledger is definitely the one I like the most.
Troy Baker does a really good Joker.
I don't even know who that is.
I know you're not watching me in real time, but I'm.
Oh, I had to close it because my internet was being a poopy.
Okay, I'm putting my hands in my head. That's just what I'm doing. Troy Baker is probably one of the most active voice actors around today. He is in fucking everything. But after, did you see Suicide Squad, Attack on Arkham, Assault on Arkham?
No, I haven't watched any of the like recent, probably in like the last 10 years. I don't think I've seen any of the animated DC movies.
Dude, you need to. They're really good, a bunch of them. I would say more often than not. I have not seen one that is bad. I'm sure there is one that is bad. But more often than not, they are really good. The first Suicide Squad one is really good, and the second one's pretty good. But anyway, Troy Baker plays Joker in that one, and he like does an impression of Mark Hamill's Joker, like, and he does it really good. Did you play Batman? Did you play Arkham Origins?
No, I played Asylum and Part of City.
Okay, well, he voices Joker in Origins. And to be honest, I didn't notice a difference at first. And then as they kind of start going, I'm like, okay, that's Troy Baker. But he's really good. But yeah, Mark Hamill is the fucking man. He is hands down the best Joker. I was really afraid you were going to say the best Joker was Caesar Ramirez. What the fuck was his name? The guy from the Adam West Batman. I was waiting for you to just be like, yeah, that one. And I was going to be like, no, they paint
Robert
over
with
his
the
mustache.
Real hot takes.
But, yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, you need to see Assault on Arkham. Please watch Under the Red Hood sometime. That one is so good.
Well, we should make it our movie sometime.
Okay. It'll just be me going, that movie was really good. And then if you're like, I'd be like, you're wrong. That's just all the thing would be. Because
I mean, we usually have more points to talk about than that.
I know. Because in that one, Joe DiMaggio plays Joker, and he does a really good job too.
I know the name of that person.
He voices Bender.
Okay.
He does. He is not he is more on the spectrum of Arthur version of Joker, where he's very calm and reserved, but then will do like sporadically insane things, and he keeps a very like low tone.
Yeah.
As opposed to like Mark Hamill / Troy Baker, who's always like at the end of all their shit. So we have like two really good voice actors who basically play Joker all the time now that Mark Hamill has had to retire because he's blown out his vocal cords being insane. So we still got good Jokers.
That's good.
I do think it's real. Did you ever watch the Drew Carey show? I know this is really weird.
No, I don't think so.
Damn it. Okay. Because I know the dude's been in other stuff, but in the Drew Carey shows where I remember him the most is. Did you ever watch Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah, I watched some of that.
Well, you know Ryan Stiles, like the tall weird one.
Yeah.
Him and this other dude were like the two idiot characters in the Drew Carey show. And the other idiot who's not Ryan Stiles is the guy who basically voices Batman all the time now. And it's really weird. Like, it's good, but it's like knowing who he is, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're not Batman. Because did you ever watch Batman Brave and the Bold at all?
I think I saw like an episode or two of it back in the day, but like I would probably like it more now, but my recollection is at that time the way that it like really leaned into the camp of Batman I wasn't having. So
Is he voices him there and plays him really campy. But now because he's going to be the Batman in the Harley Quinn animated TV show. But he plays him much more like darker and straight, but he still does a really good job. The other guy who voices Batman is the guy who voices Sonic. Craig whatever. And I'm just like, what? And there's a really weird, like I saw this really weird animatic test where he's like speaking over some animated like flipbook parts of Batman, and he switches from going from Batman to Sonic, and that made my brain explode. But anyway, yeah, overall I did like this movie. It wasn't, the Joker isn't, to me, really didn't redefine the comic book movie. A lot of the super high scoring reviews were like, Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix change what it means to be a comic book movie, which maybe it does in some sense, because normally comic book movies get laughed at by really highfalutin critics as like weird dribble for the masses. Look at that leg. That's a good leg, Robert. All of your audio is gone.
it should be back
It
now.
is now back.
Yeah, I accidentally kicked the cord while I was moving my leg.
Gotcha. But I don't know. It was good. I disappointed myself with it a lot. So maybe if I watched it again, and I think the only person I could watch this with, like if I would want to watch it again, would be like my dad, just to show it to him. But I feel like my dad would hate this movie.
Yeah. I don't know. Did you want to talk about like whether there's some potentially harmful messages in this movie or not?
I would love to hear your thing on it. Yeah.
So, I guess like I would never make the argument that watching violent media like makes people violent, but I do think that there are instances of like specific kinds of media can act as sort of like a triggering mechanism for people who are already mentally ill. So like a pretty famous example is Taxi Driver, which the person who attempted to assassinate Ronald Reagan was inspired by Taxi Driver and said that he had watched it like 15 times and he felt like a movie at that time. And then you also have things like Stephen King's novella Rage, which was associated with like 5 different school shootings before Stephen King was like, take it out of print. So like that's a book that you can literally only buy used now. And like I guess I'm saying like I would never say that we should censor media or stop it from being made because of that, but I also think it's like a legitimate criticism to level at a piece of movie or a piece of media, like whether it's being conscious about that. And I felt like the scene where he is on Murray's show and like the monologue that he gives, like he's mentally ill, but at the same time it's hard for me to say that what he's saying is necessarily wrong within the context of that universe, because like what he's saying is, I've been at the bottom and I've been fucked over by everyone, and you, Murray, have been a total complete fucking dick to me. And like I'm not saying that makes it right for him to shoot Murray,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, like the way that the movie is framed, like you kind of want him to shoot Murray, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like I guess I just like I said, I don't think I would say that this movie shouldn't exist, but I mean it's rated R, but at the same I don't know,
What's
like
up? Like,
I,
what are you saying, Robert?
but also like mentally ill people can still see R-rated movies. I don't know what I'm saying, but I guess I feel like it's a legitimate thing to think about with this movie. Like, is there a message in it where like the violence of Joker looks cool? And especially because, like I was saying earlier, I feel like when he stops going to therapy and stops taking his medicine, like he goes through a really difficult that kind of like metamorphosis phase, but when he comes out of it, like he feels more actualized as a person, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on any of that?
I, I, I'm definitely on the side of don't censor what comes out because the people who can see it, unless those people are children, like
Yeah.
don't. If this movie was rated G, I'd be like, what the fuck? This movie did everything correct about being what it is. In terms of, like, it's rated R, no kids are supposed to see it, it's supposed to be adults. If someone is insanely mentally ill, then the people who are supposed to be in charge of them should not let them see this movie. It's if someone who is mentally ill who hasn't gotten fixed, yes, does happen to see this movie and do whatever, yeah, but we can't be walking on eggshells because of a thing that could potentially happen with a small amount of people when it comes to seeing a message and then interpreting it in a way that we can't stop them from doing. Because I didn't interpret this movie as making violence okay.
Yeah.
What this movie to me was is I think it's a reflection of a lot of how people like I have felt, not the way like I want to shoot someone, but I've definitely felt like I tried really hard, I went to school, I got really good grades, and then I ended up working at McDonald's for 2 years cleaning shit out of a urinal. And when I wanted to get medicine to make me feel better, they were like, that's going to be thousands of dollars.
Yeah. No, I mean I've had like I
And
think we're both people who have had kind of that experience.
and
Um,
I think if this movie ended with him getting a blowjob in a parade, then yes, that would be a bad message. But it ends with him being the Joker,
yeah.
which is arguably the most malevolent, evil, worst villain in possibly to me, at least when I've seen all of his stuff in fiction. I can't think of someone worse than the Joker.
I mean, like he's evil, but he's also cool.
I mean, certain people will think it's cool. I don't think the Joker is cool. Like I don't. When I think of something is cool, I want something of it. Is this where I get spoilers for the Joker? Yes. I do have spoilers allowed in the thing, so there will be spoilers. But thank you for stopping
Did
by.
someone show up for Joker spoilers?
I guess it's Mr. 31899 or Mrs. 31899 or whatever their prefix was. Choose to be. But thank you for stopping by.
Indeed.
But yeah, I don't think this movie encourages violence.
Okay.
But
well.
I can certainly see someone seeing it and then doing it and then being, the movie made me do it. But it's like, the movie didn't make you do it. But I've never been that insane. I've been insane, but not that insane, so.
Yeah.
I've never seen any piece of media that would make me want to go out and do a thing that would hurt someone else. So
yeah,
that's the only perspective I can give on it. And I don't know. This to me felt like it was trying to be a piece of art rather than propaganda for killing rich people. But
yeah, that's fair.
Like I said, this movie felt like I was probably the targetist audience, and for me, it hit in a lot of places. I thought the soundtrack of this movie was really good too. I always want to bring that up, but
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't really stand out to me. But, like, I maybe just wasn't paying enough attention to the soundtrack also. So like maybe if I went back and listened to it more carefully, then it would have been something that I noticed more. I don't know.
but yeah. You got anything else you want to say before we move on to the second part and we start getting banned from every form of Blizzard communication?
No, I don't think so.
I tried to, because what I wanted to do starting is have an image like when we switch topics, but like I couldn't find a good free non-royalty image of Blizzard that wasn't Blizzard promotion,
Yeah.
and I don't want to promote them, but like, I couldn't find something that was like Blizzard versus Hong Kong or whatever. So we're just gonna leave
Could
the
have
Joker
got
up.
like were there no pictures of the like mock-up May skin that people made?
I mean, there were, but I don't want to put that up and then because like it's still May, so in Blizzard, I am positive has not released that as something that can be done, and I don't want that image being struck on our channel. So I've tried to do the best I can, finding every image I put in the background during this being something that's like completely free to use. You don't have to qualify and say credit to someone.
Yeah.
So I don't want to put that up, and then Blizzard's like, you shit on us and you used our character. So it's gonna be Joaquin just hanging out in the back while we talk about this.
Yeah.
But are you familiar with what's happening right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Philip DeFranco talked about it on his show a couple days in a row.
Okay. But I mean, for those who aren't aware, to the one guy who will watch this on YouTube, if you haven't been paying attention to internet, basically, it started with a Hearthstone player, which I feel bad. I feel stupid. I haven't looked up. Are they Chinese or are they like American citizen who just had this opinion? Because they are of Asian descent.
I don't know.
Anyway, a Hearthstone player made a comment about liberate Hong Kong during this whole thing that's going on over there where Hong Kong is trying to remain independent from China. And Blizzard responded by banning them for a year, kicking them out of the tournament they're in, not paying them any of the money that is owed to them up till this point, and then fired the two news hosts who were doing like just the thing beforehand but were not involved in the interview. Just basically just like nuked the whole thing.
Yeah.
And now there's sort of just a big uproar on the internet about how shitty Blizzard is. So, I'm assuming we're both on the same side in this. I don't think we're going to debate.
On the fuck Blizzard side?
Are we?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, sorry, what?
Oh, sorry. I was just going to say, like, we're not going to have like a weird thing where I'm going to be like, I don't think Blizzard was right, and you're like, well, I think Hong Kong should go back to China.
No, I don't think, like, I understand why Blizzard did what they did because they're like partially owned by, I think it's Tencent who they're owned by, right? Or has like a partial stake in Activision Blizzard.
I believe, yes, Tencent has, I think they have like 10%, which is funny. But I think it's something when I heard it was like 30-something% of their stakeholders are Chinese. Which is not an insignificant amount.
Yeah. Well, and then also just like that's a huge part of their market is Chinese players, and like if the Chinese government said, okay, well, you're out, then that's a huge loss for them. But at the same time, like it feels shitty to put money over both free speech and like a situation where people are having their liberty taken away.
It has been a thing where so many things have come out that it makes it seem like this is such a weird way for Blizzard to act. Like the thing that I've seen posted on Reddit a whole bunch of times, it made me laugh, like not in a funny way, but like in a Joker Joaquin Phoenix sort of way of, man, that's dark and shitty, is outside of Blizzard HQ there's a big statue of like this orc riding a beast from Warcraft. I don't know what it is because I don't care about Warcraft. And in front of this statue is a big plaque, and the only words on it is "Every voice should be heard."
Hmm.
And it's like, I think
Kinda hypocritical, guys.
I think someone needs to walk outside and take a look at their stupid art. But I was gonna like, do you? Because I haven't asked you in a long time, but you used to play a lot of Hearthstone, correct?
Yeah, it's been a long time since I played, but I used to play a lot, yeah.
I wasn't sure if you still played at all. I couldn't remember.
No. No, it's something like we've talked before about the fact that like I have a pretty addictive personality and I dumped a lot more money than I should have into Hearthstone and just like I don't think it's a game that I can play without spending more money than I should on it. So like the only healthy way for me to play it is to not play it.
I'm proud of you, Robert. And I was, once again, you way more than me played Overwatch kind of a lot.
Yeah.
I had been playing it, and then this happened, and then I, in my own tiny form of protest, which individually does not amount to much, have uninstalled the game and Battle.net.
Well,
What?
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, man.
I think there's only one place that I've ever bothered to boycott. I know that's.
What was? Well, I think. I think I know what you're talking about, but I can't remember.
I mean, do you want to guess, or you just want me to tell
Just tell
you?
me.
At Chick-fil-A, I will not eat. I
Oh.
will not give them my money.
Never
Yeah.
mind. I was not thinking. I thought it was an entertainment thing. I thought there was something where you're like, I will never do whatever again, and I was like, but why?
Fuck you, J.J. Abrams.
But Chick-fil-A is.
He's also why I won't eat at Chick-fil-A.
I will admit, I am definitely disappointed in Chick-fil-A as a company, but that chicken sandwich is really good. I'm really hoping for when Popeyes finally gets its goddamn chicken sandwich act together and it gets chicken sandwiches back to our part of the country, is a lot of people on the internet are like, the Popeyes chicken sandwich is better than Chick-fil-A's, is that I can eat that and then I never have to go to Chick-fil-A again.
There you go.
But the sandwich has just been sold out for 4 months at Popeyes. But yeah, like Will and I both uninstalled it because we were like, that's really shitty. But it wasn't. I don't feel like proud of myself that I did it because it wasn't something that I really loved. This
Yeah.
was very easy for me to drop it. But there are people who have been playing World of Warcraft for like the 15 years it's been coming like out, and then this happened and they like deactivated their account.
Yeah, I saw one guy who was like one of the devs who helped convince Blizzard to put classic WoW back up. And he was like, it really breaks my heart to have to like uninstall this game that I had a hand in making be here, but I have to, you know?
Because you don't even really play Overwatch anymore, right? Like
Yeah, I haven't really played since we started the stream just because like the times when I'd play are usually the times when we're doing stream stuff, so
because there's been sometimes in
out
the last few weeks we're like,
hang
oh
out with you
man,
guys.
we need to get Robert on here and we can play it. I personally would like it if we could start playing Team Fortress. That is a game I really like. But Will's up for it, but Evan's just like, I can't play Reinhardt in Overwatch. I mean, in Team Fortress, and I'm like, and he doesn't care about the plight of the Hong Kong. I almost said Hong Kongese. That's not what they're called. Sorry, people of Hong Kong. But he doesn't care. He just cares about getting to Platt Station. Son of a bitch. But I don't know. And I know we never will be in the situation that Blizzard is where it's, I could potentially lose all this money, and I'm not willing to lose that money for the sake of other people, I feel like.
Yeah.
But I just can't sympathize with them in any way. And in some ways, it feels like it's the worst business move. Maybe. I think it's going to be a few years before we see, but this just seems like something that even after this Hong Kong thing hopefully gets resolved, hopefully in the most peaceful, democratic way possible, I, but people's memory is really short. I was gonna say I hope we remember what they did. Like,
Yeah, I mean there are definitely like some people who I know you hate Jim Sterling, but he's really good at like remembering the list of shitty things that every company has done and like bringing it up when he talks about them. And this definitely seems like a thing that'll go on his list of things that are shitty about Activision Blizzard. But yeah, I mean, like I do think a lot of people will just forget, which is unfortunate. But
thankfully, just Blizzard has never been a game. Blizzard has always been this game company for me that I've been excited for almost all the things that they come out. Like when they're like, we're working on anything, I'm like, that's cool because you guys are good at making games, but you are not good at making games that I want. So I'm always like, oh, it's an RTS. Never mind.
yeah,
Because they were like they announced not too long ago, but it's been overshadowed by this whole thing. Is there some single player game that they were working on just got canceled because they're working on, I forget what one of them was. It's some other game that's a sequel, and then Overwatch 2. And I'm just like, damn it. I was excited for the single player game. I don't give a fuck about Overwatch 2.
Yeah, I saw someone on Reddit was saying like it'll be interesting to see BlizzCon this year because like last year was the fiasco where they got everyone all hyped, and then it was that Diablo mobile
thing,
game announcement, and then like this year people are like it's gonna be weird. Like all of their live streams are probably gonna have to be on,
Delays.
like a 5-minute delay or something so that they can, I guess, censor out the many questions that they are inevitably going to get in every panel about this, and like confiscate people's signs and shit. But
yeah, the two things on the internet that I saw that made me go ha were one. I immediately forgot what one of them was. Oh, the one was it's a whole bunch of not like professional like things, but they're like Hearthstone matches that are sponsored by the official like whatever. It's like people who are trying to become professionals. So like stuff at colleges and things. Like collegiate, but like I guess they're semi-pro people. Like they make money, but they're not like the people who go and make millions. Like there was a big-ish tournament at some college, and they were doing an interview with him on like a Blizzard app or something. So it was people from competitive Hearthstone, I think. It may have been Overwatch. I might be wrong. We're talking to them via Skype or something. And at the end of their interview, they just went, thanks for having us. And then they just dropped a big banner behind them that said hashtag Liberate Hong Kong. And then those people got banned for a year from doing competitive play and all this stuff. And then that's happened multiple times. So stuff like that. And then another thing that has happened that is like this weird movement that hasn't picked up to the level of, hey, let's storm Area 51, is for people who get to go to BlizzCon for free because of either like connections or they just win passes or whatever, just because people are like, I don't really want to spend money to do this, is that people who end up going need to wear Winnie the Pooh t-shirts.
Yeah.
Which is significant for those who don't know, is that the prime head leader of Japan, Xi Jinping, that's probably a better way than I said it, has been mocked.
You know what though? No, his name deserves to get fucked up.
Xi
Winnie the Pooh
has been mocked by being called. Did I say Japan? Shit.
You did.
Damn it. Japan, you're cool. Please don't block us.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, I don't know who the leader of Japan is. But, has been mocked by being, like, compared to Winnie the Pooh. So, like, all references to Winnie the Pooh are basically banned in China. So. I'm just waiting for this podcast to be over so I can get back to watching more anime. That's why I was thinking of Japan. I'm always thinking of anime.
Yeah.
Just looking at your shirt. Because is that a Mob Psycho 100 shirt?
It is, yeah.
Okay. Because part of me was like, is that supposed to be Midoriya from My Hero Academia?
But since I don't watch it, that would have been a weird shirt pick for me.
I forgot that you don't watch it. I just figured everyone watched it. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, it isn't just Blizzard that's been, like, in this whole thing now. I know, like, there's kind of an NBA thing going on, too.
Oh, what's going on with the NBA?
Well, so they also, like, one of the team managers, I guess, had said a, like, support Hong Kong thing on his Twitter.
Oh.
But apparently basketball is also really big in China. Um, and so, like, that's been a whole thing in the NBA now. The NBA trying to, like, manage how do we let people have free speech with how do we not lose our market share from viewers in China.
Okay, so either Google is really good or they're listening to us right now. Because I typed N and it went NBA China. Because I was just like, who said this? Huh.
I think it was like the guy who's like the team manager thing.
Oh,
In press conference.
whoa. What is happening? What? What was that?
I don't know.
Okay, so what was that again? He's the guy who what?
It's like one of the team managers for the Rockets, I think.
Ah.
I guess like the story is they're a team that's especially popular in China because Yao Ming used to play for them.
Mmm.
And so like he said a support Hong Kong thing, and that started a whole shitstorm where like I guess some of the rocket stuff specifically has now been banned in China. But they had like some of their players doing press conferences where they're like, well, we really love China. We go there like a couple times a year and whatnot, which now they're getting shit for. And I would say rightfully so, because like just fucking let Hong Kong be themselves.
We're gonna lose our Chinese sponsorship.
Oh no.
How will I get my General Tso's chicken?
All of that no money at all that they're giving us.
Well,
will be
one
lost.
thing I learned is Twitch now will let affiliates get ad revenue.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, but from what I understand from my extensive ad learning, which I do have, I learned 4 years studying it, is it, if I'm reading it correctly because I didn't go into the details, is we will get $3.50 for every 1,000 people who see ads on our channel. Because
Which like the person who is literally always watching your channel, me, is a subscriber, so I never see ads except for the one day a month where my subscription comes up and I have to resubscribe.
Yep. So far there's only been like one person who like they show up and I'm like, hey, and then they'll be like, sorry, you have to repeat yourself, I saw an ad. And I'll be like, oh. But yeah, because it said it was $3.50 CPM, which means cost per 1,000. So I mean, interpreting is that for every 1,000 people who see it, they'll pay us that.
Yeah. Well, I did see an ad today before I hit my resubscribe button, so one
Yes.
closer.
Yeah. So, who knows?
If we had more people, I think you can like choose when to run ads also.
Yeah, once you become a partner, that just becomes a function that you just type
Gotcha.
into chat that's like, run your ad.
And yeah, because I know like one of the people who the person whose stream I used to watch all the time, that would be a thing that he would do was like, all right, let's get all these non-subs out of here. And then he'd like run an ad. And then that would be a thing.
Yeah, we probably will not hit partner for. I did like a 30-minute math exercise one day to be like, if we keep going on this growth rate that we have, how long it will be? And it was like just under 4 years, and I was like, oh no.
You never know. We could get lucky.
Well, we have to at this point. Our growth rate has kind of stagnated the last month.
Mm.
But then I realized yesterday when talking to Will, we've only been doing this for 5 months and 2 days.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it feels like we've been doing this for years. And we've made $78.
That's not bad though.
It's not bad. That's going towards buying a graphics card for Cyberpunk 2077 so my computer doesn't shit its pants when I try to stream it. Because as of right now, it very much will. Oh man, Robert, you just need to start saving money so you can buy a better gaming computer. It doesn't even have to be much better than what you have so that we can play Red Dead Redemption online. They announced that Red Dead 2 is coming to PC on my birthday. And
Ooh.
my computer can play it on its shittiest setting, but Rockstar optimizes the shit out of their game so it can play in ultimate potato mode with like 4 people on screen at a time. So I don't want to do that. But anyway, back to the really important thing. The other really important thing aside from Cyberpunk and Red Dead Redemption 2. I had one other thing I wanted to say about this whole Blizzard fiasco. I guess are you sort of, because for me, like, there's nothing coming out by them at all that I would want, but like, you like StarCraft, right? I can't remember if you were into that.
I used to play 2 a fair amount, but I think if StarCraft 3 released tomorrow, I would probably not be picking it up, even if this wasn't happening.
I was gonna say, is there anything by Blizzard that's like your dream wish that you want them to make?
No, not really.
Okay,
Like,
for some reason I thought you really were into Blizzard games.
Overwatch was like, well, Hearthstone back in the day, and then like Overwatch was the only one that I was into more recently. And like I said, I haven't been playing that in a while either.
Okay.
They don't have any games on my top 10 list.
Fair enough. I was just wondering if anyone would be like, man, even if my dream Blizzard game was coming out next week, I wouldn't buy it because of this. As like, there are some people that maybe I live with who are just like, man, me not playing Overwatch, hypothetically, maybe they were talking a different game, isn't going to stop what's happening, so why should I stop playing? So I didn't know if you felt that way.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's probably the right thing to do, but also like there are lots of things that I feel like are the right thing to do that I don't do. Like, I feel like if I was a genuinely ethical person, I would probably not eat meat, but I eat a lot of meat, so like, you know, and like that's apples to oranges in a lot of way, because that's like, I mean, like, animal suffering is bad, but I do think that human suffering is genuinely worse. And like, it's easy for me sitting in a position where I'm not playing any Blizzard games anyways to say like, well, I wouldn't play regardless, but like, I can't say with confidence that I am that good a person.
Like, I don't think that I am. Like, I had been thinking about it the last few days, and if it was April 15th next year and CD Projekt Red came out with a thing like, gay people shouldn't be able to vote, I'd be like, it really upsets me that you said that, CD Projekt Red. Man, I can't wait to play Cyberpunk 2077. like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, here's Will's question is, if in your heyday of playing Hearthstone, if this would have happened, do you think you would have stopped playing Hearthstone?
I mean, like I said, I just don't think that's a question that I can, like, that's a hypothetical where I genuinely don't know.
Fair enough. Like, sometimes you don't know till you're there.
Well, that's the thing is, like, people always this is a thing where like the correct ethical thing to do is pretty obvious,
Mm-hmm.
but
But
like
people are shitty sometimes.
people are shitty sometimes. I'm shitty a lot of the times. Like I'd like to think I'm a better person than I am, and I don't want to sit here and say I would do the wrong thing. But I just like I can't say with confidence that I would do the right thing, I guess. I don't know. Like, I mean, there are definitely companies for me. Like, if Bayonetta 3 is coming out tomorrow and
There we
Platinum
go.
is doing some horrific things, like, I mean, there definitely is like a level of horrific things that they could be doing where I would be like, no, never mind. Give it up. I'm not playing Bayonetta 3. But
What's the worst thing they could do that you would let them get away with?
I mean, like, if they were doing like Chick-fil-A style stuff, I feel like I would be out. But,
Like donating
um,
to anti-homosexual charities?
yeah. Um, that kind of stuff. But I mean, also for me, that's just because like I don't know. I like I grew up in a like the Christian church that I grew up in was not like a super hardcore one, but at the same time, like a lot of my mental issues feel like they come back to having come up in a Christian tradition. And
Yep.
so like it's hard like I never want to judge anyone because of their religion. I'm like if that makes you happy, that's good. But at the same time, for me, that's a place where I have a stick up my own butt. And so like it's shitty to say like I get more offended by the like Christian form of like anti-gay stuff than I do by the like idea of a country controlling people who don't want to be controlled. But I don't know. Human brains,
Are
all
weird.
people have. Yeah,
I feel you though. I feel you. Sometimes I wonder if we are not just the same person who have just our weird realities have collided and I've just been shit through a weird time anus into this one
yeah. We have a lot in.
and you are the version of me who didn't trip and then fall into a cave and then get buried in donuts and had to eat their way out.
I mean, I had my own things that I indulged in far too much, but
But yeah, like I honestly Blizzard is not a company that I've ever emotionally invested any amount of game really enjoyment. Like I did think it was funny. Like just a few days before like this all happened, I was like, man, I only really ever play McCree in Hearthstone. This not in Hearthstone. That would be weird. In Overwatch, I don't think I really want to play that anymore. And then this happened, and I was like, cool.
yeah,
Now I can stop. But then,
yeah. Like, well, another like really similar thing that I have like that same thing with is like when the NFL was stopping people from having BLM protests.
what?
Do you remember when that was a thing where like people in the NFL during the Pledge of Allegiance would take a knee as a protest for BLM?
What's BL? I guess the
Black
acronym.
Lives Matter.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
So yeah, they were doing that, and the NFL basically said like, you can't do this. Like, as someone who hates football, it's really easy for me to say like, fuck you NFL, I'm not gonna watch anymore because I wasn't gonna watch anyways. You know?
Yes.
Um,
The
but like,
anymore seems disingenuous.
yeah, because it is. Um,
But yeah,
but
like
yeah.
Rockstar and CD Projekt Red, and then I'm sure there's another. I was gonna say Kojima, but I have no idea what Death Stranding is gonna be like. But those two for sure. Everything they've made, I've really enjoyed,
Hmm.
and like I'm super excited for GTA 6. And if that was about to come out, and then Rockstar was like, I'm trying to think of what the worst thing I could let them get away with. Like the hard line for me is if somehow their money was getting filtered into like human experimentation and or extermination, like they're supporting genocide. I'm like, nope.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh man, if they were supporting shitty governments, I feel like I would have the dumb argument of, well, people are different than their products. Ugh. Because I really want to play that game where you shoot hookers out of an exploding car.
Yeah.
But
Well, and I mean, like, it's a difficult thing because, like, even if Blizzard had done the right thing here, I think that changes anything with the Hong Kong situation, you know? But at the same time, like, they did a shitty thing and they deserve to take shit for it. But
and I feel like the guy throwing boulders out of the house made of, I'm trying to think of something that's shittier than glass, at China, being like, why can't your country just fix its problems, China? Stop being so shit ass all the time and just be cool, like
yeah,
us.
it feels really difficult to be an American right now and throw shade at other countries.
Yep. But right now I feel we're stupid, whereas I feel like what China is doing is evil.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. When you look at like some of the things that look suspiciously like internment camps with,
Like we're on that teetering thing,
yeah,
but we're at least trying to hide it.
most of us are. The president doesn't seem that concerned with it.
Nope. I'm going for the high score.
Yeah.
But they're just openly doing it, and I'm like, come on. Gild your cage a little bit. Come on.
Well, I just want to live in the Federation.
Okay. I do not.
That's so wrong to want to live in a world where people and aliens can all get along together.
Well, that's not what happens, but yeah. The Federation seems creepy and weird.
But no,
we don't have enough hours to talk about it. I would also love to live in a world where, and I'll be more politically correct and say extraterrestrials, because we can live in a world where, actually, did you say humans and aliens? Or you said
I think
people
I said
and
people and
okay,
aliens.
fine, yeah, we can live with people and aliens here. Aliens are just people from different countries.
Okay, but you know that that's not what I meant by
I know,
alien.
I'm just being weird because you love Star Trek, and I love fake shitting on Star Trek because I'm trolling.
Yeah.
But,
and sometimes you get me.
like there was times when we were playing Borderlands.
The other day,
I wish I could have seen you.
I was like legit mad over here.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just remember watching an old Cracked video that's like, this is why the Federation is terrible.
Yeah. I think I remember seeing that video. I feel like a lot of that was, I would argue with a lot of what they had to say, but
that's what 90% of the internet is just arguing about stuff.
Arguing about Star Trek.
Specifically.
90% of the internet.
But I don't know. Do you have anything else you wanted to say? I feel pretty protested out.
We had a good conversation.
Yeah, it went for like 2 hours. Oh, my tummy all burbled. Full of burrito.
Oh, well, I also ate a burrito today.
Was it from Qdoba? Or sorry, you
ate
Chipotle.
I went to, Chipotle.
Got that barbacoa.
I did get that barbacoa.
Nice.
I had to change my burrito a little bit over the last month, which has been really disappointing to me.
Why'd you have to change it?
I have like this is the thing you know about me is there are some things that I can eat that give me really, really bad heartburn. And it used to be like I could eat black beans and that wasn't a problem, but black beans started giving me heartburn and I always used to have them in my burrito. But now I can't have any beans in my burrito, so I just have to have like rice and meat and pico.
I wonder why beans.
Yeah, I don't know, but like that was like the first heartburn I ever got was from chili beans. I think with heartburn, from my understanding, what's happening is like for some reason it's causing the acid in your stomach to come back up into whatever the thing above your stomach is called. Um, and so like I can see why something like beans that often produces like gas could maybe upset the stomach and cause acid to go in weird spots. But yeah, beans and beer I cannot have.
Do you like beer?
I used to like beer a fair amount, yeah, but I haven't drunk it in years just because. I mean, I've never been super into alcohol. Um, so like giving up beer wasn't a huge sacrifice for me, but when I used to drink, that was usually what I would drink as like a beer of some variety.
See, that's the thing. Because you said beans cause heartburn, that made my brain go, wait a minute. Is I'm looking at all these articles online, and they're like, yeah, beans are really good for reducing heartburn.
Well, maybe I don't have heartburn that I don't know. Whatever happens when I eat beans feels like heartburn to me,
Hmm.
but maybe heartburn isn't actually what I've been experiencing all these years.
Because I have really bad acid. Whoa, what the fuck? For some reason, all my things just shut down for a second. I had, but I got better. Is I had really bad acid reflux, and I remember my doctor giving me like, "This is the foods you should eat," and then they were beans,
Huh.
but they weren't
Yeah.
black beans, so maybe it's I don't know.
I mean, all for it was like all beans except black beans before, and now it's also black beans.
You should try eating lentils and see if that does anything.
It's been a while since I've eaten lentils.
But
But yeah, I don't know. It's just like I have really severe pain in this area when I get it.
huh.
It's like it's bad enough that I can't talk through the pain. So I'll have like waves of pain where I just have to like sit there and breathe through it. And maybe that's not heartburn. Um, but whatever it is, it's unpleasant, and I can avoid it by just not eating the things that trigger it.
Hmm. Yeah, it says those are alkaline rather than acidic.
Hmm.
Weird. Yeah, because I was like beans and heartburn. It's like all these recipes like you have severe heartburn, eat this bean salad. And I'm just like, oh. I would
Well,
say
what
go
do
to
you
the
know?
doctor, but I don't think either of us have health insurance.
I sort of have it, but not right now because
Did
it's a stupid piece of shit.
Did you manage to get the weird issue with Minnesota whatever worked out? Because you were last
So
time we talked, you were
that's the
freaking out.
thing. They're still renewing it. It's been like 3 months that I've been waiting for them to renew it. And I've called them and they're like, yeah, we're still processing renewals. So
But
go
is it
fuck
like,
yourself.
or is it in and you're good? You just have to wait for it to finish, or do you still not know if you're good?
I mean, it's in, and when I've talked to them, they're like, you should be good, but we can't tell you for certain that you will be. You'll know when we finish processing it.
Gotcha. Just being safe and bureaucratic about it.
Yep.
Okay. Well, do we want to start talking about what we're gonna do for next week?
Sure.
Do you have any films that you were like, yeah, this?
So I had a couple of things that I thought could be kind of fun.
Okay.
Um, I don't know, maybe I can just like pitch a couple of things and then you can pick one that sounds fun, or you can go, all of those sound stupid and shitty. I don't want any of them.
Hit me with your best shots.
Um, so one that I was thinking about is a spoopy movie that I really like called Session 9.
Session 9.
Um,
That's
it's about a team of guys who their job is to like remove asbestos from places that have asbestos, and they get hired to remove the asbestos from this old asylum.
mm-hmm.
And it's a
Oh, hey, it's Caruso.
I don't know who that is, but
The dude from CSI Miami who puts on the glasses, then it goes, yeah!
but yeah, it's like a psychological thriller with horror elements that I think is pretty good. Um, so that was one thing that I thought could be fun.
Okay.
Uh, I know we talked a little bit about Pumpkinhead before. I feel like that's one that you're going to be like, no, I don't want to watch that stupid movie, and that's fine. Um, but I thought I'd pitch it anyways.
Okay. It's on the shelf.
It's on the shelf. And then I two that I know, so that we've both seen, but also I think we could have fun. Like I haven't seen them in a while, and I think they could be fun to talk about. Are Psycho or Silence of the Lambs?
I would definitely be up for watching Psycho again. I have not. You mean like the Alfred Hitchcock one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I have not seen that movie in over a decade, so I would definitely be up for watching that after watching Rope. I'm like, man, Hitchcock knows what he's doing.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you want to do Psycho?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. As far as game things were going, the one idea I had, which I was like, "Ah, we haven't had like a good one in a while, because I've just been like, what about this? Was what time periods do you feel would have some good games that we haven't seen?
Well, that could be a fun topic.
So,
Better than the idea that I had, so.
oh, what was your idea?
Mine was a like kind of goofy idea that it wasn't strictly game related, but the idea was like debating kind of like whether certain things fit into a specific genre or not. Um, so like, well, one that we talked about before, because I don't want to spoil any of the other ones that we could have done, was like whether Die Hard counts as a Christmas movie, like that kind of thing. So you know,
I
like
am
pick movies or games where you're like, do you think this counts as a blank, or just other debates of that nature?
That sounds like a good idea. I just don't have any. Like, I would need you to be the one who like brings all the
Yeah.
things because I don't have any of those. So that's.
I had one other one that I think is a pretty good one for that category, but
I mean, if we can't think of anything for next week, that sounds like it could be fun. Like for
okay, cool. Yeah, we'll
so
keep it up on the shelf.
awesome. I'm not opposed to watching Pumpkinhead. I just know most like Halloween themed movies are dumb to me because I'm not into horror movies, and then I see them, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't care. But okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I very rarely get like actually scared by them, but there's just something about the like aesthetics and tension of horror movies that I enjoy, I guess. But, oh yeah, I had one other movie,
What?
which is like I don't want to. We're already settled on Psycho, but I kind of want to just say this movie just to get your like fucking seriously, Robert,
Okay.
because it's a movie. It's a movie that I unironically like. That I feel like you're gonna be like, why? Is the first Silent Hill movie?
I I mean, I know that's the one with Sean Bean in it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not like a fucking seriously Robert thing. It's like
Okay.
that's more of like, oh man, I really wish there was a good way to play Silent Hill 2 on PC. I
I'm
want to
sure
make
someday there will be.
I want to make Will play it so bad. Okay, Robert. So what game should we find someone to raid into that they're playing?
Ooh.
I'll leave that to you.
Leave that to me.
You're in charge of the bus.
Um, find someone to play in Bloodstained Ritual of the Night.
Yep. Found some people.
Nice.
Oh, hey, see where we had gone to him before. Oh. Why are there so many old white dudes playing this game? That doesn't look like Bloodstained Symphony of the Night. I am almost positive that is Rainbow Six Siege. Yeah. So we got.
Let me get back into the stream before you raid in, and that way your raiding party looks
We
All right.
have the top 4 because I like to raid into people who have cameras, just because then you can kind of see and talk to them. As we have Seawort, we've done them already, but we got Juggernaut Pants, but Juggernaut is like squished down into 5 letters. We have Shagany. I'm saying his name wrong, I'm sure. And then Big Jim Hola. There's also someone called Spanky O'Brien, but they don't have a camera, so I don't even know if they're like talking and stuff.
Fuck them.
Yeah, that's the thing, is I've raided into people who don't have cameras, and then they're just quiet and they don't do anything. So who do you want to jump into?
Whoever has the middleest amount
Amount of what? You'd cut out.
of views currently,
Views of their whole channel?
or just like how many people are watching. Can you see that?
I can. I guess that would be you, Shagany.
You Shagany, it's your lucky day.
We're coming. Iga's back. Alright, so we're coming with you for 3 people. I hope you're ready
Ooh,
to almost have your numbers doubled.
big raid time.
We actually already hit the achievement for raiding, with raiding 100 times, so
Nice.
we'll say hi to him. But yeah, tomorrow will be the conclusion of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle in the morning.
The greatest game of all time.
Oh my god. If people want to see us play more shitty Sonic games, I'm up for doing that, because it's been such a great way to just be angry. And Will is also enjoyed playing it, I think. And then, yeah.
Has he come to agree with your feelings on Sonic?
Oh, yes. Yes, he has. And then in the evening will be more Resident Evil. So you'll see Will playing a shitty game in the morning, and then you'll see me playing a good game shittily at night.
There you go.
But anyway, hope to see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for stopping by. Bye.
Bye.
Techniques. There we go.
Oh, what the fuck?
Hey, good gaming with bad people.
What?
Host with a couple of host and a raid. Man, look at that.
I didn't know that there were combos.
Unfortunately, you've arrived at bad gaming
Yep.
with bad people. So, you know. Welcome, everybody. I gotta do a thing real quick. Scroll bars and all that. Welcome to Crab Nation. Glad to have you around. We're doing some Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. Good old Igavania game, if you remember your Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Thanks for hanging around, buddy. So I just lost my absolute nonsense over, I think, this hatchet heel right here. Here we go. Let's try this attack
I
again.
just see
this
that.
was too cool. Yes!
There's fucking
Capoeira kick nonsense.
quarter circles.
Yep.
Do it that time. That's so damn cool.
Oh my god, I wish...
Now, do you want to play this game more?
Not really more. I want to play it because I've heard it's good, and I liked Symphony of the Night. Not as much as you do, but
Yeah.
I should probably stop recording. So, bye everyone!